Good morning, everyone. And the other side. Lee circles. And reverse. And shoe circles. And reverse. And pink circles. And reverse. And reverse. Okay, you can put away your sticks.
When I was talking to my pen pal yesterday, I said, you realize after next year you'll be halfway through high school. She said, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to be an adult.
I had the same feeling. Head turns. And center and head rolls. And down to center and reverse. And down to center and back up. Forward spinal wave. And reverse. And good. the Qua. And reverse. And good. The windmill. And good. Okay, so today we're going to start the silk reeling series, learning series, and we're going to start with the shoulder reels, and I want to go into them in a little more anatomical depth than we have before, partly for the sake of those movements themselves, but partly also to talk about some real basic, fundamental, underlying principles that apply to every single move. So I'm going to start by doing a striptease here, because I want you to be able to see my shoulders. And the first thing I'm going to do is give you guys a test. Put your hand out like so. Now, without spiraling your hand, your wrist, or your forearm, turn your hand over so it's palm down. If you're like me, the first time someone pulled this on me, I just stood there and stared at my palm. Watch. All right? Didn't twist anything. Palm up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Palm down. I love this is a great little trick for getting a beer at a bar, right? Palm up. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? I love that little trick because I still can't figure out how it works. But that's how
There needs to be some mystery in life.
there's some mystery in life, and this is the focus of my mystery in life. The point of the little trick is there's more about your body than you realize at any given time. So I want to talk about that in relationship to the shoulders, because one of the fundamental principles of silk reeling is to discover your body, parts of your body angles on your body, understanding of your body that you just didn't have before. So we're gonna start with that today, and I'm just gonna start on one side. So put your hand out, all right, and I'll stand. So this is a little bit this way, all right, and just turn your hand, all right. Silk reeling is all about spirals, so very easy to spiral your hand, all right. Now spiral your forearm too, so the hand and the forearm. Okay, that means you've got, if we don't count the fingers, that means you've got two segments here that are spiraling, the hand and the forearm. Now, spiral the upper arm. Now, most people think their shoulder is out here. So when you say do shoulder exercises, they think, okay, this is the shoulder joint. Okay, that's kind of true in a kind of way, but it's also not true in a really important way. Because just like your hand is a segment, your forearm is a segment, and your upper arm is a segment, there's another fourth hidden segment to your shoulder. And that's the segment that goes from here to here. Your collarbone. Your collarbone is actually part of the shoulder girdle, right? So the hidden part of the shoulder is within the trunk itself. Right? So it goes from what we normally call the shoulder out here to where the collarbone connects right in the center here. Now, what difference does it make? When you are spiraling your arm like this, right, you are opening and closing. If you bring that awareness into your body, that will also happen for this segment of the shoulder. All right, so let me get here a little closer. I'm gonna fix the camera here. All right. Close. You see when I'm spiraling the whole arm in, hand, forearm, upper arm, and the shoulder spirals in. It moves in relation to the trunk. Sometimes when people do shoulder work, this part of the body is just they hold it very stiffly. And so they're sort of moving their arm and they're moving their shoulder like this by moving their trunk, as opposed to moving the shoulder in relationship to the trunk. All right? Close the shoulder. Open the shoulder. Close the shoulder. Open the shoulder. Close the shoulder. Open the shoulder. All right? Does this make sense? Jill, does this make sense? So when you are doing these shoulder reels, or anything else that has a shoulder reel in it, which is most of the moves, that's what you want to do. The entire point of these Qigong exercises, no matter what Qigong you're doing, and including silk reeling, is to move the chi through your body. So if this part of the body is through habit or unawareness held kind of stiffly, it means the chi's not flowing there. And therefore, you're going to get something called frozen shoulder or some other kind of thing. Or you may have old shoulder injuries. Shoulder injuries are very common for anyone who's been an athlete, all right? So do these gently and carefully, but now let's do both sides, because this is going to give you a little different feeling. Your feet should be side to side. Right? Sometimes we do this with 1 foot forward, but let's do these side to side. Stretch the arms out and just turn the hands. Now your forearms will turn a little bit, but just focus on the hands. And then the forearms in the hands. And now the upper arms, the forearms and the hands. All right? And now the shoulders, upper arms, forearms, and hands. And in fact, one of our exercises is exactly that. Now, the point of doing this is to watch yourself inside and watch what happens in your body when you are doing some of these exercises. So when you get the shoulders involved, so the shoulders are coming in and then they're going out, something happens in your trunk. And you need to be aware of that because you need to cultivate that. That's part of the exercise. Now, usually when we're doing that version of that exercise, we do a slightly different version, right? We just do this. It's okay. You can do it any way you want. It's always going to involve the center here. Let me get a piece of tape here. Watch. Opening the chest. So even though they call this a shoulder exercise, and there are many, many exercises that focus on something other than the shoulder that use this too, you're actually activating the whole trunk. Open. Close. Okay, when you close, well, now where does it go? Feel in your body. Where does it go? What you're feeling when you're doing this is where the chi is going. If you're not aware of it, it will happen. But if you are aware of it, it will turbocharge everything. All right? So pay attention inside. Where is it? Well, it seems to be focused right here. Now close. Where does it go? It's not here anymore. This is now relaxed. Where is it going? Kevin, where's it going?
I want to say the Ming Mun.
Yeah, it's going to the Ming Mun. The Ming Mun is the back of the Dan Shan. It's an acupuncture point on the back between the kidneys. It's actually the back of the Dan Shan. Put this on me, will you?
Right there?
Yeah, up a little higher. Right there. So you can feel when you do this, yeah, okay, it's a shoulder reel. I'm spiraling my arms, I'm activating my shoulders all the way from here into here, but I'm also activating the spine. And what's happening with the spine is it's opening and closing, opening and closing. That is the primal movement of silk reeling. Open. Close, open, close, open, close, right? Open, close, open, close. All right, now when you just relax into that, but stay aware of all of it, now your chi's moving all the way from your Dan Chin clear out to the end of your fingers. And you can probably feel your whole spine is involved with this, including all the way to the top of your head. Now I have to add in one more thing, and that's your feet, all right, or your legs and your feet. When you open, where is the chi in your legs? Is it in the back? Is it in the front? Is it in the outer sides? Is it on the inside? Is it where your bones are? Where is it? When you close, where is your chi? Where's your chi? Where does it feel when you close? Where does it feel like the chi is for you?
When I close, it feels like it's in the inner part of my leg. When I open, then I feel it in the yang part of my outer leg.
Right. So what she was saying is when she closes, she feels it on the inside of her legs. When she opens, she feels it on the outside of her legs. That is correct. And it's correct because there are energy channels in your legs, just like in your arms, and they all work the same way. The yang channels are on the outside. The yin channels are on the inside. So when you close, you're closing, the major yin channel in the body runs right down the front of the body, the soft belly part of the body, all right? And it goes down to the perineum, where it meets the two big yin channels from the legs. That point is called the meeting of yins in Chinese, the Hui Yin. It's the acupuncture point on the bottom of the torso. All right? So you pay attention to that. It's the base of the spine. All right? When you open, now you're activating the yang channels that go up and down the back and up and down the sides of the body. The closing function is yin. It's activating the yin channels. The opening is yang. It's activating the yang channels, so the outer side of the arms and legs and the back itself, right? Now, you can add the feet in there too. Just feel the feet. You're going to shift your weight with every cycle. Right, left, and it's arbitrary. You could go left, right, but all right. You're shifting your weight. Now the chi is moving through the entire body. So when you do it this way, it is literally a whole body exercise. Every cell in the body is involved in this, which means every cell gets woken up and gets a good breakfast of chi, all right? So you want to do all the exercises this way. Even if you were, even if you had to sit to do this, like Kevin is doing, you can still do a lot of this. You do it just very gently. It's your mind more than your physical body that determines where the chi goes. So you can be very, very gentle and just think, right? Open the front, close the front, open the front, close the front. Or you can think about the back, all right? Close the back, open the back, close the back, open the back, and just pay attention mentally to this, because where your mind goes, your chi will go. It's not a question. You don't have to train it. You don't have to do anything. It will go there. All right? So let's do a set for the shoulders. keeping these basic principles in mind. Now, it's a little different when you start left foot forward, but in a way, it's better. Maybe we can talk about this tomorrow. We did not talk about too much about the spiraling, right? But the truth is, it's all spirals. The arms, the legs, and the trunk. And you can feel it a little easier when you've got either left or right foot forward. Because it naturally causes this to spiral. And reverse. And the other side. Open the shoulder, close, open, close, open. There's a trick to opening and closing the shoulder. It's a little easier to do it when you're like this, but we don't do the exercise like that. Let me, if Annie will cooperate, I'm gonna show you here. And I'm not gonna pick on her, she's gonna pick on me. She's gonna put a hand on either side of my shoulder. And I'm gonna ask her just to describe what she's feeling, all right? So, just a little bit, and a little bit up and back. All right, good, and a little squeeze. What do you feel?
Feels like a solid live mass. It does. It feels like it's the whole thing.
Let's go closer to the camera. All right. Okay. So I'm not doing this. All right. I'm doing this.
Yeah. It's really articulated. It feels like it's articulated all the way.
That's the word I was looking for. So good. It's about developing some articulation in your body. There's a way to do this. You have to just be aware of the geometry of this move. If you stick your arm out like this and rotate it, all right? That means there's one axis that goes all the way from the center of your body out to the tip of your finger, and you're just going around and around and around that axle, right? Easy. It's just like the wheel on a cart, all right? But when your arms are like this, it's not that way. It's a little different. Because now you've got a 90-degree angle between the fourth segment and the lower three segments. The lower three segments can still turn all together, but the fourth segment can't. So this segment the axis, when you're like this, there's just one axis, and you're spinning around that. But here, there's two axes. One of them goes straight up and down. You turn your arm, but this one, for the fourth segment, still goes like this. So now you've got one axis that goes in this direction, which means when you turn around it, you're doing what kind of circle, Kevin?
Lee.
A Lee circle. But this axis is like this. So now when you go around it like this, what kind of circle are you doing, Kevin?
Ping.
Exactly right. You're going to have to do a Lee circle and a ping circle at the same time. It's not that difficult once you get it. But if you don't get it and don't do it, you're sort of missing the point of the exercise, right? So the shoulders are rotating like this, but watch my arms and watch my hands in particular. My arms are still spiraling this way. And that's what opens my chest. If I don't do it, this just sort of stays dead inside. Instead, you want to open your chest and then sink into your back. Open your chest, sink into your back. Open your chest, sink into your back. So there's a kind of geometry here that you have to understand, but also notice this is not some weird geometry from some ancient textbook that they're trying to make you do. This is just how the human body works. It's how we move. All right? So when you do any of these exercises, whether it's just on one side, right? Open the palm. Open the palm. Open the palm. And when you go the other direction, close the palm. Close the palm. Close the palm. That's for the Lee circle, like the, or both the ping and the Lee circle, like that. One other thing, we'll talk about this tomorrow too. When you roll your shoulders, you also roll your hips. The shoulders and the hips are cognate joints. The elbows and the knees are cognate. The wrists and the ankles are cognate. Those are called the three outer harmonies. There's also three inner harmonies, but those are the three outer harmonies. So when you are rolling your elbow, or your shoulder rather, right, you're also rolling your hip. Well, yeah, and your ankle, and your knees, and your spine. You're rolling everything, but pay attention to the hip. This joint is the most important joint in Tai Chi and Qigong. And it's the joint that everybody forgets all the time. All right? But you want to roll. When you're rolling open up here, you're also opening up down here. And then you sink in the back, and then you close. Open, roll, close, open, close. Open, close, open, close. All right? Now, you don't have to get super athletic about it. This is not like a gym routine where you're trying to build big muscles. This is a health routine where you're trying to move the chi through your body. So you can do this very gently. It's absolutely fine to do it that way. All right? Just a little bit. In fact, in some way, sometimes very gentle movements are better because they sort of de-emphasize the physical body and emphasize the mental and energetic body. So you pay more attention to that feeling of flow going through your body. You feel that flow that's happening? That's not nothing. Let's do the other side just to be symmetrical. So in the Western traditions, the idea is you get into the gym and you work as hard as you can and you just break into a huge sweat and you just expend all your energy. That's not the system they use. The system they use is to be soft and rather gentle with yourself. It's not about building big muscles, right? It's about improving your health. So it's gentle. It's the flow that matters. Okay, guys, we've reached the end here. So we can continue with this because there's more we can talk about tomorrow. Okay, guys. All right. Have yourselves a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.